So we have many masters staying this place and also to educate the others about the Buddhist text. With the change of the history, we already changed the pronunciation of this place. This is called Zangjingge, also means the depository of the Buddhist text, but also it means this place is considered as a treasure for us. But still, some people would like to call it Cang because this is the depository of the Buddhist text. We want to hide all of the treasure inside this place. So I think both ways will do for the pronunciation. Depends on the function of this place. So my understanding is that you could call it either way because it will convey different meanings of this place. Now I would like to send out the first round of prizes to our audience. All right. We would like to make a countdown, and also we will send out some of the prizes to the lucky audience.
好嘞。 我来截取，来，你也看到了，第一位叫做东方龙哥。
So, alright, we already have some lucky audience.
昨天就已经是我们的幸运观众了。
坚持运动这个网名是吧？好像昨天就。
Well, I believe one of the netizen, he also won another prize yesterday.
祝贺祝贺
Congratulations.
非常祝贺。第三个是我就是我，第四个是意大利的后卫。 第5位是王强994A3595，哎，我把这一屏表留下来。
Alright, I would like to keep the screenshots, and later we will send out the prizes to this audience. So this place, the depository of the Buddhist text, is also a treasure. And of course, in today's live coverage, we will visit a lot of different places to give you more knowledge about the Shaolin Temple. So let's pay a visit to the depository. I believe this is a stone mill. What is this one? Well, yesterday I have told the audience a lot of histories and the legend of Shaolin Temple. And also, for this stone mill, it also have a lot of history and legend. I think the diameter is over 1 meter. So I would like to tell you, for this stone mill, the monks, they're actually trying to operate the mill with themselves. So this is also a practice for the monks. So we have around like 16 people, 16 monks to operate the stone mill. 1 year later, we only have like 12 people to do it, and 8 people, 4 people. So after 1 round of the stone mill, for these 4 monks or the 4 masters, they will improve their skills after they operate the stone mill. Also yesterday, I said for some of the African masters, and also they are able to improve themselves by operating the stone mill. And also we are aware of a very large wok. What is this one? I believe this one also have a lot of history. I think this wok is quite big, so it may fit a great number of people. What do you think? So you already think this one is a wok because of the shape. But for me, I think maybe this is not just a wok. Maybe this is more like a storage or a container to store the rain. So can you tell us more about this wok? So the reason we want to put this one in front of the depository, we just want to express, also inform the audience about the history. So actually, actually for this large walk, it will fit about 500 soldiers in ancient times. But this is a very small size of the walk. We also have larger size of the walk. In Shaolin Temple, many people eat in front of this walk. And also it takes a lot of skills for people to use this wok. So how we cook with this large size of wok? Back in ancient times, you know what? So people have to hang in the air with an upside down position. So their face is actually facing the wok. It also requires a lot of skills. So every time when you try to stir the food inside of the wok, they have to hold their breath. So that's why we also see some of these things in films and movies. Even though you're just doing everyday cooking, still it requires a lot of skills for the masters and monks. And also, if you look closer for the wok, on the ring of the wok, you could see some of the text. So I believe this one is quite heavy, around like 650 kilograms. I think this wok is quite large, but still I believe you need to have a stove in order to heat up the wok. Yes, in the past we need to build up the stove with bricks. And also you're talking about for the monks and the masters, if they want to do the cooking, they have to be hung in the air in an upside down position. Yes, indeed, it requires a lot of skills for them. And also, we just talked about the history about the depository of the Buddhist text. So, are we able to find some of the scriptures talking about the skills for the martial arts? Yes, indeed, we do have a lot of treasure scriptures inside of this depository. Can everyone get access to this depository, or only a number of monks are able to get access to those scriptures? So in the Shaolin Temple, we have a number of monks. They have to keep improving themselves with their skills. So not everyone will be allowed to enter inside of the depository. And this place is quite sacred. And also, if you want to educate the others about these scriptures, they need to reach at a certain level, so as to qualify to be a lecturer inside of the depository. So after we enter inside of the depository, we are able to see some of the Buddhist text. So from outside, you could see what it looks like. However, we are not able to come near to all of these scriptures. Have you ever borrowed some of the scriptures from this place? Yes, we can. So we could learn some of the Buddhist texts, and also we could borrow some of the scriptures about the fist position or the scripture of the martial arts. So when we are doing the meditation or when we are practicing the martial arts, if we run into some questions or problems, we may want to found some text so as to improve ourselves. So I would like to ask another question. Who is the number one master in the Shaolin Temple? I believe everyone is an expert in the martial arts. Who is the best? So actually back in the ancient times, we do have a very excellent master. And also you may find these people in some of the novels. So this person is the sweeping monk, because this monk is able to do some cleaning job inside of the depository of the Buddhist text. So he is able to get access to this area. For the other monks, maybe they're not qualified enough to enter into the depository. However, for the sweeping monk, he came to this place every day, so he's able to learn some of the skills of the martial arts from the scriptures. So in front of us, we are able to find 3 ancient trees. So can you tell us more about the history of the 3 trees? Yes, actually, in the history, maybe you're all aware of one history, that is, in the past, we do have a very big fire happening in the Shaolin Temple. So in this tree, you could see some of the skin was burned off by the large fire. However, the tree was able to survive from the history. And also you may be able to find 4 characters carved on these trees. If you look closer, that is the spirit of Shaolin. So even though this place was suffered from the big fire, however, the Shaolin Temple were able to survive from thousands of years. So where are the characters? Well, actually, this kind of spirit is everywhere. That is quite a nice expression. Actually, we don't have these 4 characters on the tree because the Shaolin spirit is everywhere. It's deep inside of the masters and also the monks. If you look at this tree, you could see it did not have any skin, but still it's able to survive. And for some of these trees, it have a very long history. And actually, for the trees, it used to die and also to revive and come back to life again. So during the course of history, for the trees, actually, they suffer a lot of adverse conditions. But still, these 4 ancient trees are able to come back to life. So I would like to ask you another question. Why we call Shaolin Temple? What is the meaning of the word Lin? Well, we are also talking about we need to have trees in order to form a forest. So in the forest, so in Chinese it means Lin. And also in the Shaolin Temple, we have a lot of young talents and young masters. So we always talk about the unity of the spirit and the skills and the technique. And also for the young masters, they have to keep learning in order to improve themselves. So they have to learn from their everyday life and also get to improve themselves. So what is this place? This is another Buddhist hall. And as we just went past the depository of the Buddhist text, it is treasure. So what is this place? This is more of like an office area for the Shaolin Temple. So I think for this place, it's quite familiar to me. And for people who are visiting the Shaolin Temple, especially the heads of states from other countries, when they visited Shaolin Temple, we will do some shows to demonstrate the Shaolin spirit. So now we come to another place which is called Fangzhang. Can you tell us more about this name? So what is Fangzhang? So literally it means the Buddhist abbot. So maybe we could consider him as the leader of this place. So the reason when we're calling Fangzhang, in Chinese it means that this person must be very generous and also he's really kind in their heart. So that's why we call this person Fangzhang. Also shows the generosity and also the kindness of this person. So especially for this person,
我在这儿有
he
一个
has
镜
to
头想要
treat
给一下我们的
others
摄像老师
as
能不
his
能给到
own family
这个
members.
是我们看到
This
方
is
丈室
also
门
once
口
again
有
shows
这么
his
一个
kindness
有
to
这么一个
general
这
public.
钟啊
对，
这个
So
这
what
个
is this
钟啊
one?
有没有什么说法？
So any history about this
为什么要
bell?
挂在方丈室
So why we are
对，
having setting up this bell in front of the room for the abbot?
是吧？那么这个钟在少林寺比较特别。
So this
这个钟
bell
为什
is
么挂
quite
在方丈室
special
这个是在少林寺
because it was hung in front of the room of the abbot. So according to the history, so in the past when we have, for example, special occasions happening in the Shaolin Temple,
重大事情的时候，
咱们过去
the
有过吗？
abbot
好，我给大家分享一
would
个
strike the bell.
我们有一段
So I would like to share with you one of this story.
抗击倭寇的时候，当时少林寺就收到了圣旨，当时的方丈就敲起了这个钟。紧急
So this is
召回
back in the
总部
times when
那
we
个
try
时候只要是
to
方丈敲起这个钟，无论你是在外边练功的、
resist the
种地
Japanese
的、煮
pirates.
茶的、做饭的，
So one time the abbot
放下手里所有的
was
事情都要
striking
来到
the bell.
方丈寺集合。
And when
那就是紧急集合
the
的
nearby people and nearby
抗击倭寇
residents
保家卫国
hear
紧急事
the
件
bell,
才敲这个。
and then they will gather in the Shaolin
这边
Temple so
这
that
边也
we
很有意思。我
could
看怎么
be
是两棵树
united
是不是长
and
在一起
resist the Japanese
这个树
aggression.
呀，这个这是叫
So what is
我们
this one?
平常呢，民间叫它叫
This
女
is
贞抱
another
女贞
large
抱
tree.
中间是一棵柏树，
哦
那么外面是一个女贞子。那么这
啊，
是这个外面这个女贞树呢，是当年呢
So
就是
we have
日本的
two
一个圣人
trees
那么
you
当
could
年在少林
see
寺修行的时候啊，他栽种的，
setting here
也相当
side
于
by
我
side.
们这个当时的这个中日友好。
啊，女贞抱柏
And
就是
also
这个
we
柏
have
树
a
其实是
cypress
非常笔直的，
inside
然后
of this
这个
area.
女贞其实是在抱着它的。
对对对。
这个形状我们过去不太看到哈，何老师，您是不是也第一次看到这样
I
的形
think
状？
this is the first time when we see these two trees
挤在一起
twine with each
这
other.
种拥抱的姿
It
态。
feels like these two trees are hugging with each other.
我们现在也是来到了另外一个，我们现在可以看到的应该是立雪亭。
对，
对。
Now
历
we are
史
coming
你看
to a
寺院的布局
pagoda
你看大雄宝殿在前面，在那个低处，是吧？
对，
那么紧接着有这个藏经阁啊。
And we have just gone
那力学
gone
厅呢，就
past
像
by
为
the
什么
depository
在高处啊
of
力
the
学厅里面供奉的
scriptures
是祖师啊，达摩祖师。
and
达摩
also
祖师
the
说为什么祖师的殿在上
dwelling
面，佛的殿
places for the
在
abbot.
在下面呢？
And now we are coming to the 立雪
我们
pagoda.
寺院来说呀，我们众生的欲望啊，我们凡人的欲望是向往高处攀的，高处去
So
攀
we would
那
like
么
to
圣
talk
人的境
about
界
the aspiration for ordinary people.
这也是一
However,
种这个
for the
民间的
saints,
说法吧。
they have different kinds of aspiration. Actually, they're quite down to
现在
earth.
我们看到就是我们为大家准备的一段武僧的表演
So
了。
right now, I would like to show you some of the kung fu show from the monks and the
这位法
masters.
是严开法师，严开法师在我们展示的这一套叫少林的烧火棍法。
烧
烧火棍，
对，
So you could see this is a martial arts performance by one of the
源于生活，
master.
跟生活有很多的关系。你看烧火做饭，
So actually, he is imitating the moves for the
成
cooking.
为一个兵器了，是吧？
对对对。
哇，
So actually, he is holding the stove poker.
哎，这个我印
It
象
requires a
深啊
lot of strength.
这两下，大家经常
I
在电
believe
视
these
上
moves are quite familiar to us.
摔棍儿
So especially when the master is trying to strike the pole, the stick.
你说的那个真好，你看我们这个少林功夫就是来源于生活。
And actually, for the Shaolin Kung Fu, it's all originated from our day-to-day life.
套路是不是？
So even though he is using a stove poker, but still, it is a very excellent
太感
performance
谢
of
了
the，Chinese
严凯法
Kung
师，请您
Fu.
过来我们这边儿。
Very excellent
我看到
performance.
咱们操练以后，严凯法师也是气喘吁吁的，也是很累。
So I believe
我不
it
知道
requires a
您
lot of
练习这个
strength when
这
you
个
are
棍法有多少年
doing
了
the Kung Fu show.
20
So
年了
actually,
呢
for
哇那
this
您这
master,
个
he
也
has
真
been
的是有年
practicing
头了，真的
the
是一
martial
个
arts for
少
over
林
20
少
years.
年功夫，也是一个从小就练习的，是
I
不是？
believe you start
我看
practicing
到那个
these martial
昨
arts
天
from
今
very
天我
young
们都看
age.
到少林棍僧的一些表演。
And
其实我
from
有点好奇
yesterday and
就是
today, we
其实
saw
我
a
一
lot
直
of
想知道
Kung Fu
这个
shows
这
from
个
the
少林
masters.
棍它的这个为什么有粗细啊？
So I would like to understand about the different sizes of the poker and the stick. So when we are young, we are quite short, so we are not using very long stick or long poker. When we are growing up, we will use a more thicker poker. So any special requirements for the texture? So actually we try to collect all of the sticks and materials from the mountains. Because for the texture of these pokers, they are quite elastic. So I would like to try it, how it feels. Very nice. So actually for the stick, it is quite common in Shaolin Temple. We have stove poker, we are using the stick, and also we could use the sticks to practice martial arts. So this is very important for the Shaolin Temple. I have another question. So I realized yesterday in one of the show, I think this kind of stick are quite elastic. So can you tell us more about the knowledge about the stick? The reason why we choose elastic materials to make the stick is because we want to make sure that for all of these sticks, they're quite solid. So these are different movements for the Shaolin martial arts. And sometimes we are using the stick as a rifle for us. So maybe right now you are not using this kind of stick for cooking, right? Because of the cultural heritage, so we have to continue to inherit the martial arts, especially martial arts with sticks. So every day we will practice ourselves with the sticks. So especially for the masters in martial arts, they will practice for a couple of hours. And except for the fist position, and also they will do some martial arts with sticks. So we have around like 70 forms of the performance of the stick. And also yesterday you told us that we have over more than 300 forms of the fist position. Yes, indeed. Altogether, if we want to talk about the forms of the martial arts of the Shaolin Temple, we have altogether over 700 forms. So we will have some of the masters focusing on certain forms of the martial arts, and then they're able to educate the young monks to learn these skills. I believe for each one of the monk, each one of the master, they will have their own stick. So stick is considered as their weapons. So for the stick and all we call the weapons, it is considered as part of their body. So that's why they have their own weapons. And also these weapons will become part of their body, part of their life. Especially when we are using this kind of weapon for a really long time, you are emotionally attached with these weapons. And also it is an inseparable part from your body. Thank you again for your show. So right now we are standing in front of the Lixue Pagoda. So when I hear the name Lixue Pagoda, can you tell us more stories about this pagoda? And this used to commemorate one of the masters in the Shaolin Temple. Especially this place was built to commemorate the Bodhi-Dharma. And also it talks about the masters, the emotions, and also the relations between the masters and the Bodhi-Dharma. And for one of the monks, he lost one of his arms in order to learn from the Bodhidharma. So once again, we are emphasizing the strong belief. So right now, for people who are staying in the Shaolin Temple, it is not just to learn from the masters, but also they have to carry forward the spirit of the Shaolin Temple. So what we are doing right now inside of the pagoda, so we also store some of the Buddhist texts here, and also we are setting up some of the statue of the masters. So this is the number 6 commemorating hall for the Bodhidharma.
我有一个小小的发现，就是其实像昨天我们是已经走了几间店了，但是我们发现
Actually, yesterday we did visit some of the halls. And right now we are seeing for different places. They're quite unique, but when we are coming to the other area of the Shaolin Temple, we are seeing for some of the depository or some of the architectures, they're quite smaller in size, or I would say they're more exquisite. Why is that? So actually, this comes back to the overall planning of the Shaolin Temple. And for the construction of the different areas, they also need to fit into the overall landscape of the Shaolin Temple. So this place is quite spacious. So this is the Guanyin Hall. Yancheng, Master Yancheng, can you tell us more about this place?
这个观音殿里边有一幅壁画呀，上面就是绘画了十三棍僧救唐王的这个。
Actually, I would like to talk about one mural inside of this hall. So actually, yesterday we just talked about the story about the 13 monks saving the Qing emperor. So back in the ancient times, actually for the masters, they are using sticks to protect themselves and fight the enemies. So as I said yesterday, for the monks and the masters, when they're coming to a combat situation, the overall objective is not for them to beat the enemies to death. So some of their martial arts, they're trying to create a deterrent effect to the enemies. For example, we have the one finger pointing technique. So actually we are using the same technique when we are operating the stick. So sometimes we could use the stick to fight on a horse. So in the past, we are actually saying that if we want to fight enemies, we want to get back to the horse, and if we want to become a Buddha, you have to get away from the horse. And also as for the height of the stick, it is actually related to the height of the masters. We have different types of the stick, and also we have very long stick, even higher than your height. So for different types of the sticks, and you have like different techniques to do the martial arts. And also have some sticks actually at the height of your eyebrow. And sometimes you are using the stick as your rifle. I would also like to talk about when we consider stick as the major weapon for the Shaolin Temple, because it is quite simple for us to collect all of these materials. We could go to the forest, and also we could collect all of these weapons from the trees. When we enter into the battlefield, we have to upgrade some of the stick
2.0时代，
so as to improve the combat capability of all of these stick.
还是有一些弊端，所以我们再次升级，把它
And from time to time, we may think maybe there may be some weakness of the stick, and then we will change the wooden stick into the iron stick, and this will be more aggressive.
多老沉呢。
你看一个棍子多沉呐，拿起来挺。
I believe they are quite heavy for all of these sticks.
那个两膀子的力量，整个身体的
Especially
力量，那真是
You have to hold the stick.
您说的
It
这个
requires a lot of strength for the
让您跟我
masters.
们何老师比划比划，哪里能
以
打？
我为这个。
Maybe you could show us some of the moves.
您可下手轻点啊！
So, for example, which area you could hit and which area you are not able to hit.
一打眉头双眼，
眉头双眼
上面这个位置可以打的，打完之后不会让你
So, in the eyeball area, we are able to hit it.
只要
对
对
So, the purpose
这个位置是不能打
is to make the enemy dizzy.
这个位置
太阳穴不可以打。
那一打上去，那可了不得了。
啊，这个正中咽喉不能打，咽喉部位。
对，
And we are not able to hit the throat, and also
唇上
we should not hit the temple of the
那个会
enemy.
眩晕的呀。
当然会眩晕了嘛，但是不会要他眩晕。
And also, you could hit the place below the nose and also above the mouth.
能不能取他性命？
We have like certain areas we're able to hit the
能比如
enemy,
说打的这个鹤膝虎骨这个地方可以打，
膝盖骨啊，
膝盖
膝盖骨
哎，有些
and
用法
also
是
the
说
knees. We could
这个
hit
没关系
the
哎呀
knees.
疼了一下。
这就是所以我没法跟何老师身上。
你不能不能，那
所以这个
走不成，
不能
这个不行。
这样
哎呦，
我用手轻轻拍一下。
对
对啊，这
因为它是
So
一
we
个
could hit the knees from the backside.
对，你看它往这边打的话是个反关节的，虽然不能说是打得
If they
太
hit
但是
from the other side of the thigh,
对，所以这一
so it will also
戒规。
我们的戒
cause some of the injury of the enemy.
但是我们不能上了战场就上。
So even though we are coming to the battlefield to protect our country, but
善念存在，这
we
个
will
善
not, we don't want to kill
其实知
our
人性命
enemies.
啊，或者说有一些更大的杀伤力，并不是一个最基础的诉求啦。
So, for example, we may have some like fatal moves, but we will try to be cautious in using all of those moves.
对，我们来看
And we have another master,
言传法师，
and he is doing the kung fu show here. So this is the master Yan Chan.
精神头非常好。
对，你看他
您看那眼睛，
眼神啊，
And I think he's very
已
good
经非常准
physical condition. You just pay attention to his expression.
哇，
So we should keep our voice low.
哇塞，太给力了！
这就是我们经典的传统拳。我们在很多壁画上可以看到，就像老拳师打的这个拳一样，
对对对，
这种动作。
我看那个招式特别像。
对对对对，你看，所以这样的动作讲究的是
Some of
朴实
his
无华。
gestures is actually captures in the mural.
哇，好棒！
太棒了！有请有请，
言传法师
老拳师，有请有请有请，哎，
Very excellent performance.
我看得到言禅法师啊，这个劲道非常足。我也想问问您，可能这个问题
I could see he used a lot of strength in doing the kung fu show. Once again, I would like to ask you the question. How many years have you been practicing the fist position? I have been practicing the fist position for over 40 years.
那是。然后我想知道，就是咱打这个拳是哪一套拳？它有什么特点？
So when you are doing the fist position, which form is that? Any features? This is
内外兼修。
what we call the mental fist position. These also require the unity of the spirits and also the martial arts skills. So we have to stay calm when we are doing the performance. And also we need to make good use of our strengths. So this requires 6 special
外三合就是
technique
是不是？
in order to do the fist position.
意与气，气与理。那
So we have to consider our breath and mental condition and also our physical strength. So what is the criteria for a very good fist position? So you have to be very flexible when you are doing the fist position. So yourself will not be limited by the format and the positions. And you are quite free when you are doing the martial arts. So actually when I watch the master's performance, it reminds me of some of the moves in the murals. So also I'm quite aware of your eyes. Also, some of your expressions, I think, is quite closely related with the fist position. So you have to be concentrated. So I believe the concentration has been expressed from my eyes. Very excellent performance. With 40 years of training and practice, he is able to give us an excellent kung fu show with the fist position. And we just talked about like 2 murals in the Guanyin Hall. Can you tell us more about the murals? So actually, for some of the fist position, already demonstrated by the senior master. And the senior master just told us that we have to achieve the unity of the spirit as well as the skills. So in the past, we don't have many fist positions captured in the mural. However, we do have this mural ready in the Guanyin Hall. It's rarely seen for some of the skills can be demonstrated in the murals. So this time we could see the Shaolin Temple is more open to the outside world. We would like to share some of our good practices to the public. So right now we are coming to the very last hall of the Shaolin Temple. So when I look at the name, I was quite confused because in English it means like the Western Sage Hall. So what does that mean? Will this hall carry some of the belief from the Western side? When we are talking about the Western side, it is about the ancient India. So actually in this hall, we'll actually present the figure of the Sakyamuni. So this also has something to do with the structure of the Chinese character. So they also represent the nature and also the human being. So for this place, we actually have a lot of explanation about what is a saint and what is the underlying meaning of the saint. So now we are hearing some of the sound of the practices of the martial arts. So when I hear the sound, I was getting quite excited. Now we have a group of masters. They are doing some practices. So this is the oldest training hall for the monks in the Shaolin Temple. Let's take a look.
僧，我们听到我们的观众朋友也非常震撼了，
Thank
谢
you
谢
for
各
your
位，谢谢各
performance.
位。
I believe our audience are quite impressed
谢谢
by
各位小
your
师傅们。
practice.
其实我觉得他们很眼熟，就是在于昨
Thank
天
you for your hard
开场
work.
的也是他们，
对
是不是？
对对对，在山门口给大家表
And
演的
actually, I
四
believe
个三
yesterday in
棍
our opening, and also the same group
对，没
of
错。
the masters, they are also doing some kung fu shows in front of the audience.
热血沸腾了，太震撼了。
何老师，您知道吗？
And actually, I was quite excited when I standing here.
这个声音就是可能因为这个大殿的这个声音的混响啊，就更加的。
So in this place, I believe we could hear some of the echoes from
对，
their shouting.
所以每一个发音都是
And also, it represents very high morale of these
现在你们就感
masters.
觉到哼哈二将的这种力道。
They are using a lot of strength.
感觉那
So when they are doing the martial arts,
从丹田一下出来的，
对，
是吧？
所以讲到这里，我再回到刚刚
and
有
also
一个
actually their
给大家
breath
讲
is
的例子
holding up with
马
them.
赛克真正给他意识到了，如何做到心与意合，意与
So as I
气
just talk about the unity
气与力
of the mind and
三者合在一起打
the
到一个
technique
支点上，力量就足了。
so we need to strike a balance for the breath, the mental status, and also the physical status.
手与足，走与心。
So that is the key for the martial arts.
这是外在对
And
这个
also
手的
for
标准
different moves,
如果说不
they
是这个标
also
准
need
那这个
to
动作就没有力
reach
有
a
内在的
balance.
讲法，有外在的标准，它就是六合的精髓。
So we have some like inner strengths, and also we need to follow some of the criteria to do the fist position.
又讲了这个意义，是吧？
对
真棒。
我有个小问题，就是我看到武僧们刚刚是在这儿
I
练
have
武
one
的
question.
我就有点好奇呀、
So just now we saw some of the masters they are practicing inside of this hall.
一般不会来这
对，
里，
一般
So when they are doing the practice here,
听境界以后才能来这里练。
but generally they will not practice here. They will practice the martial arts
所以一般
in the outside place. So this is quite a sacred place.
在这儿，我想先给大家
We don't have much chance
就是
to
我
do
们来
the
到这个
kung fu
大
show
殿
here.
是因为这里
So
真
here
的
I would
上
like
一
to
次
ask
历
a
史非常重
question.
要然后大家其实可以看到，我
The
们有
reason why we are
各
coming
个
to this
各个
place is because this
对
place is very
对
significant
而且
to
刚
the
刚
Shaolin
在那个
Temple.
我们这些
And also
少
we
林
found
小武
some
僧
pits inside of this
训练
area.
的过程当中，我们也是专门做了设计，就是几乎我们每一位小武僧都在一个坑的附近来练，
And
是
also
因为它是有深刻的意义的。
From
我
the
想
kung fu
先请
show,
我们的
we are
所有的
seeing
朋友
for
参与
each one of the master they are standing
这是
right next to the pit. First, I would like to ask a question. What are these pits?
到底是什么？
Stay tuned with us. Just have a
而且
guess.
同时呢，我们
What
把这
are
里
these
不再讲
pits?
悬念，我们先来看非常壮观的满屏的壁画。我们也请我们两位师傅给我们讲讲。
So maybe right now we should just have a short break here, and we will look at some of the murals here. So maybe the two masters can give us some explanation of the murals. So for some of these murals, they're actually coming from
这个壁画呀，我们
Ming
知道
Dynasty
它是随着明代距今500-600年。
This is the mural capture
它
the
随着这个时代的变化
500 art.
也是会变的。
So with the change of the era, you could see the color faded away.
它的每
If you look
每尊
closely,
像
especially if you look at
功
the
的面部表情
technique,
没有一个是一样的。
就是神态感觉
对，
都
神态各
you
方面
still could see the facial expression is quite different for the 500 art. So they have complete different facial
我
expression.
们到这边来，我们看一下那个罗汉呢。
Let's come to the other
经常
side.
呀我们
I would
民间
like
老
to
百姓啊
show you one
称
of the
为
art.
迎宾罗汉。
迎宾罗汉
为什么叫迎宾罗汉呢？说那个罗汉看啊，
And
不管
actually
你站在
for
这里面的任何
local
角度
people, they will want to refer to one of the art as the reception
就在
art.
这面上吗
我们？看最上面，那个有一个大胡腮，是吧？
Let's find this one.
肩上挎着那个佛珠啊，
So in the middle part, I believe you already realize that figure.
就看一下。
So it looks like he's putting on a very big smile
的姿态
on his face.
好，
正中间的
我来，移动一下
哎，你
啊。
来看一下眼睛是不是一直
So
在
this
看
is the art in the middle part of this
我们
mural.
这个，那么
是不是啊？
真的是傅老师，
哎，
据说啊，大家在
So
推测
if
的
try to look at this art, no matter where you are,
按照
也有
这种工艺
这个效果吗？
these art
它的，当然
is also facing towards the front part.
过去500-600年前呀，我们中国呀，都有了这样的
我们的绘画能力就能做到这种程度了，
对，
达到现在的这
So
种。
you could see even 500 and 600 years ago, we already have this high technique for the painting.
这个看画，我们看远看
And
山
also it is quite exquisite, especially if you look at the facial expression for all of these art,
画的是祥
they
云
are quite
中间是祥云，
different.
上面那层画的是山是吧？
So you could see
山
the
下面
mountains,
这里最下面的你看近
the rivers,
波涛的
and also the
我们
clouds.
中间画的是祥云，
啊，祥
哎
云，朵
这是我们
You could also see the waves of the water.
祥云。
太美了。
太美了。
You have the water, the mountain, and also the
500
cloud.
什么样的小小的故事能给我们分享
And
一
the
下？
500 art herds are actually surrounding
属于修行的一种
the
次
whole
第
area.
哎，
次第
罗汉一种果位，哎，到一定境界，有菩萨的，有罗汉的，罗汉的
So
果位
actually, art
它
herds,
这些
meaning that for a certain master or certain monk, if they reach at a
听说过没有？
high level, and then these people will turn into art herds.
就跟修到西游记里面那个取经啊，
啊
这个唐僧取经啊，有大乘与小乘佛法。
对，
后来不是
大
点化
乘佛法，
大乘与小乘嘛？那么
And also we have these art herds appeared
就是治疗汉，我自己
in
我们再俗一点说，就是自己
the
治疗
historic show, or the drama show, The Journey to the West.
所以说叫治疗汉，就是自己成就啊，哎，那么当然他也达到了一种好的境界，哎，那么就是说要自度他，那么后来要取经要去大乘佛法，就是
So meaning that for some of the art herds, they have to keep improving themselves
所以说大家经常说菩萨
in order to reach a higher level.
中国有四大
So that's why these people always want to help others.
有四大菩萨，四大菩萨又代表了四种教义，叫
So in China, we have 4 well-known mountains, and not actually for the 4 mountains,
观世音菩萨的慈
we
悲
have
文殊菩萨
4
的智慧
goddesses
那么地藏王菩萨
or
的
4 gods
是不成佛，
praying for the 4
普贤菩萨的
mountains.
实践。所以说我们家里老人拜观音求个平安呢，那么多去帮助别人，按菩萨的精神去多去帮助别人呢，给后人造就平安大道。我们年轻人求学的，
And for some of the mountains, they're actually being protected or prayed
这四大寺
by the
您在
bodhisattva.
正对大家为什么这么熟悉呢？就是我们现在生活中
So for the 4 bodhisattva, it is
学
very
愿行，
important
实践。
for our life. We also talk about the
我们都是在行菩萨。
wisdom and the kindness,
我
and
跟各位
all of
讲
these
现在
features
大家在屏幕上大家都在刷，都
are
说是
common
练功
features
留下
from the
是不是这样
bodhisattva.
是的，是的
延年师。傅
我看很多这个评论回答的都很精准，
啊，
这些就是少林。
And also we do see a lot of interesting
传下来，
comments.
一代一代练。
So in this place,
这个脚坑
it is actually left down from the generations for the holes or for the pits, especially when the masters and the monks, when they're doing the practice, when they're practicing the martial arts, and then they are creating these holes or the pits on the ground. So actually it required generations of the monks.
可见功夫有多深呢？是吧？
So as they practicing the martial arts
好，
for hundreds of years,
我来感受一
and
下。
then they are creating the holes.
杨红法师，您站我
So
旁
I
边
would
了
like to
然后您站
feel
我
it.
旁边，大家都能看出来，就是我在这儿的位置是这样的，然后您往前来一点儿，然后我下去了之
So
后。
I would like to show you closer about these pits.
这个坑也
很深很深啊。
对，我直接就我直接就
This
落
is
进来
because
了
of the efforts of the generations of the masters and the monks.
那个我们何老师也可以
So this
体
is
验一
also
下
considered as the
体验一下，
Kung Fu holes.
你感觉就是一下好像就是这样。
矮了一头掉进来了，所以我们说好像一下子入坑了。
对，观众朋友，您猜对了吗？这可是。
So it feels like I'm just like falling down into a hole.
练功留下的。
So this is what we call the Kung Fu holes or the Kung Fu
之
pits.
前呢，先抽一下幸运观众吧，好不好？
好，
大家说的都非常好。
So right now I would like to have a lucky draw of.
大家准备啊，5、
So
4、
first we will make the countdown.
1。
好，截取。在这儿呢，也
Let's see
告诉大家
who are the
第一位
lucky ones.
获得我们这一部分奖品的是烧鹅、烧鸡、烧开水。第二位是
昨天也有是吧？
昨天也有是吧？
他，昨天也有他。
忠实观众，
忠实的
恭喜
粉丝
你，
谢谢您。
谢谢你。然后第二位是 QQ 糖，第三位是牛六六。
So right now the host is reading out the lucky audience, and they will receive a special prize
非常感谢大家。
from our coverage.
真是练你的口才呀。
Thank you for your participation.
还有更复杂的，还有绕口令的。
绕口令啊。
对，有点儿想知道的就是在那么多年以前哈，武僧为什么会在这样一个室内的位置留下
So I
这么
have
多
a
的
question.
脚坑那么多积累？
So why we have so many monks practicing in these areas? Why we have so many holes here? Can you tell us more about the history?
禁武的制度，要禁止练武的。但是这种练功夫呢，
So back in the history, there are certain periods and also actually prohibiting the monks to do the martial arts.
所以说久而久之呢，
However, for the monks and the masters, it is a habit for them to practice the martial arts.
时期
They do not want to be identified by the others because of this special period, and they try to practice kung fu and practice the martial arts at night indoors.
这是列排队形的，
So if you look closer, for all of these
对，就48个僧
holes
人常年
actually in the line, we have about 48
因为那个不那个
pits
时
or
期呢
48 holes, meaning that we have 48 masters practicing martial arts at night.
我们晚上关上门。
However, for the monks, they would like
如
to
果当时那个时
carry
期僧人
forward
不把它传下来，今天我们
the
就没
martial
法
arts.
享受和练习
That's why they keep practicing the martial arts in the evening indoors.
少林武术。
Thanks to their efforts, right now we still have the Shaolin martial arts.
应该什么样的动
So
作？它
maybe I would like to
会出现
invite
这
the
样
two masters to
来，那你们
give us a
到这里学一学
demonstration.
当然，
So maybe you should show us some of the
今天我们
moves
把马步升级，
so that we could understand how these holes are formed.
晚上我腿就疼，啊，特管用是吧？
Actually, yesterday we have
来来，你们
give you
二位主持
some
人到
education about the
感受一
moves.
下我们
So
台下
today
脚坑的这个力
we
道
will
好来，我们把
teach
马
you
我们先把
another
马步
move.
蹲下去，
哦，马步蹲下去。
好，
膝盖外张，
对，
然后
膝盖外摆，脚尖离
So
后
we have to spread
好
our
蹲下去之后让我
knees,
们起脚，把右脚
all right,
起脚，
bend down, and then put your one leg up.
哎，
所以这是一脚一脚跺出来的
真的
啊
我。再试一下啊，
再来一下
起脚。
起脚。
So if you are practicing this move in the hole, you could see
跺出来的。
because of the stepping,
哦，哎呦，那
that's why we have some holes or some pits
是要多
here.
么的重要啊！所以每天
So this is very important basic skill for the martial arts.
6个小时到8个小时的训练。
到现在都是
And actually, for the new masters and the new monks, they have to practice this move for about 6 to 8 hours.
非一日之
How do you
功
feel?
就甭管干什么哈，真的是非一日之功，滴水石穿。就
Well,
像我们刚才
actually,
说的那个练二
it
指
takes
禅
a really
一指
long
禅
time
在那个银杏
in
树下
order
留
to
下
make some
的
achievements.
都是岁月帮我们留下了一些痕迹。
Just
都是
like
这种
yesterday,
日
we are
积月累练习
demonstrating
达到的
the
感
finger
觉
stamp
少林
and
武
also
僧
the
还有
finger
少林寺
pointing.
整个所
And
有的
actually, it
僧
requires a
人
lot of
在练
efforts
功的
from the
包括
masters
在
and the
最艰
monks.
难的时刻也需要
And
我
all
们
of
也
these
需要把
people
这
are
样
quite
仍然是
extraordinary.
练习不出
Even
的
though
非
in
常
special
的
time,
没错
even though they're not allowed to practice martial arts, but still they were quite persistent and they're trying to continue to practice the martial arts indoors. Now we are actually coming to the most western side of the Shaolin Temple. So this is the end of the part 1. So actually right now we have received
现在这个数据啊，
some of the videos from 27 countries.
目前有那么多啊。
包括国家的数目
And the figure is still coming up.
都还在持续的增长当中，说明有非常多
We
的
still
人
have a rising number of the videos we receive. We have people from different countries. They are also practicing the martial arts. So later, I would like to show our commentators, especially some of the videos from African countries, and also we will comment on these short videos provided from the African countries. Once again, thank you very much for your joining, and thank you very much for your introduction about the Shaolin Temple.
陪伴着我们
And also, we are quite lucky to have two experts to give us a lot of introduction about the Shaolin Temple.
一对组合，真的是感谢你们。那么在一段短片之后呢
Once again, thank you very
大家会
very
步到
much
垂
for your
谱
participation
真
in
的
the
以
live
后
show.
继续进行我们的鉴赏的部分。
And later,
介绍
we
一下
will
我
come
们
to
马上要
the
开始的
second
第一段
part.
短片。这个
We
短
will
片
have
当中大家
more
不仅可以看到我们很多
commentation
非洲选
about
手
the
他们寄来视频的
short
一些精
videos
选片段的
received
信息
from other
还会看
countries.
到我们更多少林武僧他们
So
切
first,
磋
I would
他
like
们
to
在我们
show
这个
you
大
a
殿
very
西方
short
圣人殿
video
里边演练的
to
种种非
understand
常精彩的瞬间。
how these Western masters are practicing the martial arts. Actually, for some of the people, they used to attend a training camp in the Shaolin Temple.
是怎么样的？
So maybe this time you could have a comment on their performance. Just a very short break. Please stay tuned with us, and soon we will have a part 2 of our show. See you soon.
"你的拳头要全打一条线。
三律，中。
欢迎回到我们的直播，这里是武术梦中飞琴融媒体直播特别活动。那么现在呢，我
So
们
this
进
is
入了今
special
天直播的
coverage
第
on
二
the
个
Kung Fu show relations between China and the African countries. Now we enter into the part 2 of our episode. So right now we would like to watch some of the videos provided by some African
那么首先呢，我们第一波嘉宾已经坐在我们
masters.
身边。
So we will talk about the martial arts and also we will talk about the relations between the China and African countries. So we have several special guests joining us. So I would like to introduce the guests. They are
刘宝女士，欢迎您。
欢迎刘处长。
the person responsible for the China-African countries in Henan province. And also we have a representative from the liaison office of China-African relations.
爱非洲的摄影师梁子老师，欢迎三位。
And also we have a photographer
首先呢，我们今天说的这个
who
主
is a
题
super
是
fan
中
for
非
African
中非
countries.
以及我们的武术梦哈。刘处，我想
So
问
today we will talk
我不
about
知道
the
咱们河南省
the
和
Kung
非
Fu
洲
show
有
and
一
also
些
we
什么
will
样的
talk
渊
about
源，因为我
the
们这次选在
emotions
河南省，
between
就是有它非常
China
重
and
要的
African countries.
好的，那我们河南
So I would like to understand why this time we do the live coverage in Henan province. So actually for Henan province, we have a lot of communication with African countries. For Henan province, we do set up
关系，然后
9 offices in different African countries. We have maintained a very friendly relationship with the African countries. And also we have a lot of high-level exchange.
在这个非洲都有投资，
We have
都有
about
建厂，比如说大家
100
有一些都非常
companies
熟
from
悉的
Henan
就是
province
我们
invested
中国
in
这个
African
行业的这个第一
countries.
品牌，就是我们这个国家也是世界上最好的新能源客车，它呢在非洲许多国家都
For
占有
example,
很大的这个
we have
科技
setting
市场
up
的这个占有率，对对对，
这个工业经济往来也是比较密切。
companies in African countries to sell the new energy cars and also takes up a very large market share in the African countries.
对对，还有一些这个
And also we have some companies from Henan province trying to
各个方面对
build
建设
roads
方面
建设呀，
and
水
the
电呐各个
railways in the African countries.
都有这样密切的合作，
对
是吧，
对对，
刘处？
是的，是的。然
So
后
we
呢
have very
当
close
然除了
ties
这些呢，我们还有
with the
教育
African
方面
countries on
很
the
深的合作
cooperation.
比如说我
And
们
also
跟
we have some
非洲
educational
学院
cooperation.
跟这个坦桑尼亚
For
和
example,
罗马大学都有合作办学。我们河南
Zhengzhou
河南
City
这
have
个
some
职业
cooperation with
职业学院
Tanzania.
和这个坦桑尼亚这个教育部也有职业培训的这种项目这样的
We
合
also
作呢
provide
是
vocational
多的
schools,
那么
vocational
除此之外呢
services
当然我们
in
更多的
Tanzania.
是一些文化方面的交流，比如说就是
On
像
top
我
of
们这
that, we
个
have some cultural
郑州的
exchanges
歌舞
between
团
Henan
少林
province
寺就
and
有
the
僧团呢
African
经常到
countries.
非洲
For
进行
example,
演
we
出
have artistic
当然
groups
中
and
国
also
功
we
夫
have
是吧
the
他们确实所到之处
Shaolin
都是就广受欢迎。
martial
所以
arts
呢，我
team
们
to pay visit
到
to
了
African
确实
countries.
足迹基本上可以说也是遍及非洲这个大陆。所以这
So
一块
I
儿
would
呢
say
也是交流是非常
we have
多的
visited many places in the African
当
continent.
然除此
We
之
have
外
many
呢，我们
cultural
还有一
exchanges
些
with them.
你比如说卫生方面的合作，是吧？医疗卫生啊。
And also
因
we
为我
have
们
some
河
healthcare
南省呢是
cooperation
承担着
with
咱们
African
中国
countries.
对非医疗
For
援助
Henan
的
province,
这个医疗小组派遣的任务我们河南省呢主要是
we will
对
provide
这个
medical
埃塞
assistance
是吧
to
埃
the
塞俄
African
比亚、厄
countries.
里克里亚和赞比亚3个国家。从这个70年代开始，我们就不断地
So we will
派出这个
provide
医疗
medical
小组
assistance
到
to
现在为止呢，已经
3
派
major
出将近60批
countries
1000
in
多人
African
在
continent,
当地
including
对
the Ethiopia and
对
also
好多
the
年好多
Tanzania.
40多年。然后
So
在当地
over the
治愈
4
的这个
decades,
这个病人
we
都
sent out
700多
over
万所以说
6,000
对对
medics, curing over 7 million patients in the
当然
African
呢，因为就是
countries.
因为我
This is
们跟
actually
非
a
洲这么
huge
紧密
number
的联系，所以说呢，在
because
任
we
何
have
时
very
候
close tie
我
with the
们
African
应该来
countries.
讲都是和他们心心相连的。为什么这么
I would
说呢？
say
你看这个
we are closely related to
新
them.
冠疫情爆发以来，
especially since the outbreak of COVID-19, African countries hit badly by the epidemic. Some of the countries even imposed lockdown. So from Henan province, we would like to make some donations on the medical supplies and also to provide support to fight against the epidemic. And to Ethiopia, Egypt, and other countries, even though we are not that convenient of the transportation, but still, we send out a lot of medical supplies, for example, the protective suits and face masks, to aid these African countries to fight against the epidemic. So this also shows the close tie between the Henan province and the African countries. You mentioned economic cooperation, educational cooperation, and also the medical cooperation. So can you share with us some touching stories? Well, actually, there are many touching stories. Because of the time limit, maybe I would like to share with you one story. So when we're providing the healthcare support to the African countries, I would like to talk about one doctor. So his name is Mei Gengyan, and actually he's from the Anyang Hospital in Henan province. In 1974, he used to be a leader of the medical assistance team in China, and actually he led the team and provide medical support to Ethiopia. For this group, they are quite dedicated to their work, and also it caused a big sensation and welcomed by the local people from the Ethiopia. And in their hospital, they have received a great number of patients. And also, it is quite well known for Chinese doctors. However, for Mei Gengyan, unfortunately, he passed away in 1975. And for the local people, they are showing a lot of respect to this Chinese doctor. And also, they created a tablet to commemorate this Chinese doctor in 3 languages. So for this monument, it's actually set up in one of the village. So in this village, we also have some local people who serve themselves as guards at the beer. So it takes them for over 40 years to guard the beer. Actually, the old gentleman passed away, but their daughter still stood as guards at the beer. And for Mei Gengyan, actually, his son is also a doctor. So for his son, is also part of the member of the medical assistance team to the African countries. So he followed the path of his father. So this is also a very typical and classic story. So this is like a two-way cooperation. So on one side, you could see the Chinese doctors go to the African countries to provide support, and also they win back the respect. But talking about the African countries, actually we have some people or some local people that come into China to receive some of the martial arts training. So for some people, so especially when these Africans come to China, especially they come to Henan province, the barrier for them is the language barrier. And for some of the Africans, they speak French, and it's very difficult for us to have the communication with them. So I'm not able to do it because I speak English. So sometimes if they're not able to understand the local language or understand English, it's very hard to do the training. So as for these Africans, some of them, they have different cultural background, and maybe from time to time we may have some young people who are able to speak English. So I will be the liaison between the team of the martial arts from the Chinese side, and also I will try to translate the Chinese into English, and some of the young Africans, if they understand English, they could also translate this language to French. But as time passed by, some of them are able to understand what we are talking about. And actually, from time to time, we open up Chinese classes, and so for some of the Africans, they're able to pick up some of the simple words of Chinese. Thank you for joining us for this special program. Especially, you just told us a very touching story. So actually, there were many people, they are boosting the ties between China and the African countries. And also, this relation is quite long-lasting. Once again, thank you very much for your participation. This is our first group of the guests. So as you have been visited to the African countries in the past 2 decades, I believe you have traveled a lot. And this time, we have received many videos. Before we start to watch the video, so can you tell us about the distribution of these countries in Africa continent? So what are these African countries? So actually, I already watched some of these videos. So maybe I would give you some information about the situation of the countries. So for example, we have videos like coming from Tanzania, the Kenya, the Gabon, the Cameroon, and so all in all, it's saying that we have the videos coming from different districts, different areas of the Africa continent. And also for some of the countries, they are in the inland of the Africa continent. And also we have another country. Maybe we may want to invite some of our audience to have a guess. So here I actually, in the map, in the continent, I identified the 3 places named A, B, and C. So right now I would like to give you another name of the country, which is the Malawi. So can you tell us the location of Malawi, whether it is in the central part or in the western part of the Africa continent? Right now, I would like to invite 2 senior masters to join us. So they are also the coach for the African martial arts training team. Welcome. Welcome to our show. First, I would like to ask Yan Cheng, the Master Yan Cheng. So you are the major coach for the African training team. So actually, I just received an assignment from another senior master. I was quite nervous. So I have think a lot about the curriculum on the training. And also we have a whole team to make arrangements of these young Africans. For example, we will try to teach them how to do the Kung Fu. And also we need to work on their daily needs.
少林寺上上下下以及少林寺方丈的大力的支持。在我这儿呢，我们也
And this time it is like thanks to the support of the abbot of the Shaolin Temple, and the African team is able to come to the Shaolin Temple to receive training about the martial arts. So right now, maybe we could watch the video first.
我们先说我们第一组视频啊，现在我已经准备好了，我要播放的是
I would like to show you the first video.
一起来看一下。好，播放。
So the two people are coming from the Cameroon and also the Congo.
合练。
有印象，这里面有我带过的学生。
是
You
吗？
could see this is
你
a
看一眼就认
group
出了，这里边
practice.
有带过的学生。
So for the master, you could see he already identified some of his students.
这个有不一样的打扮啊。
I believe they are wearing different uniforms.
功夫的基础我看着非常好啊，
对，我看着也很专业。
是吧？
Very solid basic skills. He seems very professional.
是
Can't believe they keep practicing after they coming back.
就是在疫情之内啊，就是一般小的时候也没来中国，基本上可能就不怎么练了。没想到就是还一直持续着
So
练。
for some people, after they leave China, maybe they will forget everything. They don't want to practice anymore.
这是醉拳。
醉拳。
哦，
说这个醉拳也是我们
So
少
what
林
is
功
this
夫的
one?
一个比较典型的有亮点的一个。
Well, actually, this is very typical fist position for the Shaolin Temple. This is what we call the drunken feast.
对。你看看似醉了，其实没醉，是吧？是。心醉意不醉。
It seems like, for example, the monk is getting drunk, but no, actually he is performing a very excellent drunken feast.
连贯性非常强，是吧？
对，我们当时练的时候也是
Very nice move.
因为说有地毯的动作呀，下面有摔法的呀，有空翻。
So actually, when we are
共和国，
providing the curriculum, we're just trying to
师傅熟悉吗？
improve their strengths and also do a lot of moves.
是特别亲切吧？
This is another student from Congo.
此刻看到这样的视频，是不是对他
And
们
actually, for the two
心里边
masters,
这种
when they're
惦记啊，各个方面
seeing
的
the
感情
performance
突
of
然
their
生啊
students,
很怀念，很怀念
杨老师。傅
maybe you start to miss them.
对，现在也有保持联系，因为我们
Actually, right now they still like keep in
他
touch.
们来这里的时候会给他们下载咱们这个微信，
微信，对，
我们会
微信。
建一个微信群，像是
So when these Africans come to
还
China,
有这些学生们
and
都在
they
一个
will
群
also
里面
download
是他们
WeChat
在
application,
自己国家
and
有
for the
练功的时
students
候
and the coach and the master, they will in the same group.
让我们
会有一个互动。
So for these Africans, when they come back to African countries, they also keep practicing, and also they will send some of the videos to their
那
masters.
个力度，而且那个味道，感觉是不是？
So right now we
少林拳
could
特
tell
有的那种味道慢慢就出来了。
it's quite
对，我
powerful,
们少林拳讲究就是，
especially when they do the
对
move.
对对，
对他这个拳打出去要
It's quite professional.
他这个拳打出去要滚出滚入，这才有力度。
特点。
对。
反正我们外行看的都觉得挺棒的。
我们觉得很专业
啊
了，。
对，很专业了，感觉。
这是刀术是吧？
As an outsider, we think this is quite professional.
有的回去有当教练的。
I believe for some of these students, when they come back to the African countries, maybe they become senior master in their local martial arts association. So some of them are able to teach more
基
students.
本上很多都是
And for some of these people, these Africans, they have a different background. And some of them, they have some basic
来
skills.
过3次呢。
So for this gentleman, actually, he came to Shaolin Temple for
延薪是吧？
at least 3 times. And also, he has a Chinese name.
哦，
因为说这个学员啊，因为
And also, I would like to tell a story about him.
家人嘛，就是不在人世了，然后他一直坚持着。
Actually, for his family
真是
members,
让我感觉那时候很欣慰。然后后来怕他把
he already lost his family members, but still, he has this dream
孩子一直继续坚持
to become a kung fu master.
他这种坚持一直
And also, he keep practicing his skills.
克服万难。
So we are quite touched.
说到刚才的这个
by
明
his
白，我们都有很多的
persistence
感触。因为其实法语频道呢，覆盖到了很多的讲法语的国家。我们知道非洲有
And
很多
actually,
国
for
家
the
都讲法语。
CGTN
那么
channels,
非洲
we
也有
also
很
have
多人是热
the
爱武术
French
的。
channels,
李
and
慕白
also
这
we
个人
have
呢，
some people from the African countries who are able to speak French. And when we are talking about 李慕白, we used to shoot a video. We are talking about the Shaolin Temple in African countries. So we also have an exclusive interview with this person. So now I would like to show you the video, so we could have a better understanding of this person. So this is 李慕白. His Chinese name is 李慕白 from Cameroon.
里面是沙子，沙子你练到一定的境界的时候，里面可以放那个钢珠的。
哦，越来越硬了，就是。
对对。
So this is what we call the iron palm. So I believe he's quite famous in African countries. And I believe he's also an author. He's able to publish a lot of books. But still, we could feel his affection to the Shaolin martial arts. And actually, each time, when Cameroon sent out a team to Henan province, we always see his name. We have hosted 7 sessions of training. We have over 100 students from over 20 countries. But just for 李慕白, actually, he came to Shaolin Temple for 3 times.
这个我还拎过，我觉得真的太沉了，拎不动。
他是根据他的这个个人的这个身体素质来
调配他的这个重量。
So this is what we call the stone dumbbell.
对对对。
This is also a way to practice the strength of the arm. So right now for the African class, they have like 3 months curriculum. So what are some of the content of their day-to-day practice? So in the morning session, so they will wake up in about like 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. We will have some like health practices. For example, they will do some 8 trigrams boxing. And also we have the martial arts classes. We will give them a lot of comprehensive classes. And after lunch, they will have a short break. At about 2 p.m., they will receive some Chinese training. And they also will receive some of the training on calligraphy. And also we will teach them with the information about the Zen, and also we will have some medical classes to the African class. So for example, if they get injured during the training, then they're able to protect themselves. So here, I would like to invite a master to give us a performance on the fist position. So this is the demonstration time. So the master will show us on the fist position. So especially when we are quite near the master, we could feel the strength and also the morale from the master. I believe for the African class, they would love to receive some of the martial arts training. So when we are watching a movie, a film, we always think for this kind of moves, they're just like stunts. But however, this is really happening. So actually today we have the major coach and major master from the African class for the Shaolin Temple. I think it's quite lucky for us to see the performance from Yan Hao. And as Yan Hao is also one of the assistant coach in the African class. So when the students came here, How did they feel? I think first time when they came to China, it takes some time
都需要一定的适应。
to get adapted to the life here. For example, they have to
我
adjust
们会
their
慢慢的再去
jet lag, and after a few
开
time,
始正式的进入我们这个
we will
上
try
课
to
啊
teach them
训练
some
啊
of the
对对对
basic
不然呢
skills.
体能其他之类的这个
So
跟不
and
上
then they
对
could
对
like fully participate, fully engaged
对，
in the class.
他们吃饭的话是有专门有负责这一块儿
How's their
自己
meal?
专门吃饭
他
的一
偶尔我们会
生活区域
让他体验一下
体。验一下。
因为说他们还是主要还是以
So we will just give them some
这个
experience.
荤来为主。
对维持他的们自己的
Because for those who are coming from African countries, they
那
like
几位
to
老
eat
师，
meat.
我们接下来来看
So
第二
we
组
have
视
a
频吧，
special
好不
chef
好？我们第二组
prepare
视
a
频
meal
呢是
for
来
them.
自科特迪
So
瓦
it's time for us
肯
to
尼亚
see the
和坦桑
second
尼亚的
group
选手的视频。
好嘞，我们来看一看。
of the video. Let's take a look.
肯尼亚武术协会选送的一位学员，
拿着红旗上来的。
This is from the Kenya.
这样的
You
演练
could see it's also a group show in group practice, and also the 4 people standing in the background, they also
斜
holding
的，
武术协会的。
the national flag.
这个国家倒没有。
So for these people, they are coming from the martial arts
这是科
association.
特迪瓦，肯尼
So
亚
I believe these people may not
这有一位女孩子，
这个女生
came
好
to
像是
China
我们
for
第一届
training.
的
But also we have a
这
female
是第一届的。
student.
因为只有我们
I
第一届
believe
有
she
女
used
生
to attend it for the first African class.
这是练的一个棍式。
3人对
We
跪。
do receive some of the female
对，
呵，他连这样
students
的
on
都
the
学会
first
了
section.
这个挺厉害的，很厉害。
罗汉阵嘛，这个叫。
对。
可是
This is
上
quite
来了之
difficult.
后，他的训练量和训练方式会跟其他人不一样吗？
你说哪方面？
So you just mentioned that we used to have some female students.
我们都是
So
一视同仁的。
shall we treat
但
them
是他可以
differently?
说他
For
现在不做
example,
的
the
时候他
intensity of the
我
training,
们说啊，你
etc.
休息一下。
Well, actually, we treat everyone as the same. But if for some of the female students, if they think they're
会一下子
not able to catch up with the others, so we will
对对对对对。
give her some time for a break.
哎，
这个很棒，这
So
个
we
是
have
翻
to
译下来
balance the
的。
needs for each one of the students.
这个是我
So
们
this
那
one
个
is I think he is
16
Yan
年的
Ming,
这个九节编
and also he is a very senior student from the African class.
厉害了，
他是后期，然后跟着我们非洲玩完之后，他非常再想回来，你知道吗？后来就跟我们少林寺这
So
边
actually
联系
after the
就
class
说我能
ended,
不能
and
回来
Yan
我想
Ming
长
is
长期
trying to contact with us, and he's coming back to us. And he want to receive more training in the Shaolin Temple, and actually he stayed in the Shaolin Temple for over 2 years. So right now he's already a senior coach
标志性的东西
in the local area.
咱们要说到坦桑尼亚，
This is from
简单说
Tanzania.
务必一定要提。
Can you tell us more about the
对
knowledge of
这个铁路到
Tanzania?
今年就是通车
So we want
16
to
年
talk
通车到
about
现在整整45年了，
the
太值得
railway.
纪念了，因为我们有60
The
多
railway has been commissioned for over 45 years.
长期永远留在了这块土地上。就是
For
非
the
洲人
construction of the
那这
railway,
个铁路说句实在话，就是
I would
现在
say
之所以能维持到
60
现在啊
people
其实
dedicated
有
their
很多
life
一方面是当地老百
in
姓
the
特别
African
受用
railway in
在
Tanzania.
他们生活中很受用不说吧，其实旅游也可以。因为我们
So
现在
this is a very useful railway, and
疫情
also
过去以后，大家去坦桑尼亚
it boosts the tourism in Tanzania.
到赞比亚的铜矿
After
这
the
段路啊虽然走
epidemic,
得慢，但是呢，一路是景色，森林啊、高山。
I would like to
河流啊
advise
一路是
all the
非常美
tourists
然后可以
to
体
take
验
the
慢生
train.
活
啊，现在我们看到的就是坦桑尼亚
Because
的
if you want to
选手
travel from Tanzania to Zambia, and you will experience very beautiful scenery
达赖斯萨拉
along
姆
the
实际
side.
上它是经济中心，但它是最大的城市。对。
看看他们的表演。
So for
哎刚
Tanzania,
刚
it's actually
是
an
结
economic
束了
center.
可以看得出来他们的服装也是非常专
So
业的
right,
啊。
we
在
just
这儿呢，
see
我又
another
想提
group
出一个
show.
小小的邀请，能不能请我们的严浩
So
师傅
now
也
I
给我
would
们
like
来
to
展
have
示
an
一段
invitation. So Yan Hao, Master Yan Hao, can you also
有幸
show us some moves on the martial arts?
教练严浩教练呢，当场要为大家
Please
展示
stay tuned with us
大家不会离
because
开的，大家
Master
最喜
Yan
欢
Hao
这样的
would
功
like
夫。
to do
对
the
然后
martial
我们练的
arts.
是七星拳。
七星拳
七，星拳也是一个著名的拳种。
对
啊
对对。
对，
这个新
So
少林寺开设的
also
时候
he
就
will
是
show us the face position, what we call the 7-star
我
face
看到很小
position.
武僧也是从七星拳入门。
对对，这个基本。 主要是看那个手型。
哎，
它七星，我们有七星爪。
七星爪。
对。
不如七星头4元。
对。
We have the 7-star palm, and also we have this special fist position.
打起来的钢筋
深藏千金，有余力。
有余力，对。
借力还打自己。拳打卧牛，展身手。精巧敏捷，七星拳。
您这个相当专业。
这是口诀。
哇，太棒了，
太棒了，
太棒了，严浩师傅，
严浩师傅相当厉害。
我们真的是聊的
Very excellent performance
真的有感觉到这
from Master Yan Hao.
士气，
您说的对，
魅力。
其实我们跟师傅直接
Especially, I could feel the charm and also the strength from the martial arts.
往往是很温润的，但是真到了打拳的时
So
候，
when we talk to them, we could see they're quite kind and also they're quite gentle in their personality. However, when they're doing the martial arts,
上来以后这种气势，
it feels quite different.
他真是这个身体，这个屈而不屈，直而不直。
Especially for the Shaolin fist position, it requires a lot of strength
你比如说个七星拳，它七星拳是干什么
from
的？
different parts of the body. And for different kinds of the fist position, it actually focusing on different parts.
就抓它的关节的。抓它关节，抓住它。
And actually, if we were practicing the 7-star
力量
palm,
你要抓它的关节之后，它跑不
we are
了。
trying to capture
对。
the joint
就是
of the arm.
反关节，对，并用的，它攻防含义。
And this is also a very useful and practical combat skill.
他身上有一种
有点忌惮了，
一股气儿。
对对对，有那股虎虎的精神啊。好，我们接下来也看我们第3段视频吧。其实严浩师傅也是。
All right, now I would like to show you the third group of video.
是非常擅长于实战的。
And actually, for Yan Hao, he's doing a lot of combat classes for the African class.
现在我来。
So now we have the last group of video. I would like to show you the video.
大家也来赏鉴一下。
叫耶利米，我的中国名字是。
中国名字是阿龙。
家邦人，来自家邦。我住在。
So this gentleman's name is Along in Chinese.
石油的国家。
So this is coming from the country from the Western
我
Africa.
看到很多这个非洲学员也会给自己取一个中文名字啊，像李慕白呀、阿龙。
So I saw some of the African students, they are trying to name them after Chinese.
有的时候他自己也写诗。
So for example, Li Mubai, he's actually admired the Chinese poet Li Bai. So that's why Li Mubai is also an author.
已经展示了。
看看他那个动作敏捷。
All right, now we could see he is performing the 7-star fist position. Very nice move.
他走了之后，
Look at his legs.
这个衣服也是我们当时给他们。
是吧？
还这份情怀用。
And actually, he's wearing the costume and the gown that has been brought from the Shaolin Temple. I believe this is a treasure for them.
怀念嘛，哈。
Especially when he's trying to shoot the video, he would like to
阿远，
wear this costume.
这位小伙子呢，他的这个
So this is Ah Yuan.
但是汉语说的也挺好。
对他们的汉语，你看在这儿啊，边学汉语就
So
边
he
学
is
了
coming from Manabi.
真的，一切就都。
So now you could see for these African youngsters, they're also able to learn some Chinese.
老师有教的这个少林这首歌嘛。
少林，
对，
少林。
他们一下课的时
So
候。
also during our class, we will teach them the martial arts, but off class, we will teach them some of the Chinese songs. And actually, they learn very fast. And just within less than like 3 months, they're able to pick up
而且非洲人民
some of the basic words in Chinese.
聪明啊，是吧？
I think they have a very good language
始终感觉
skills.
到非洲人其实他们的韵律感非常好，音乐性啊、韵律感啊是天生的。
And also for the
这个要练。
Africans, I think they have very good rhythm. All right, now Ah Yuan is trying to perform the 7-star fist position. This is also very popular overseas.
这练的怎么
So I
样？
think this is a fundamental fist position from Shaolin.
咱们刚才看了一遍这个，严浩师傅
严浩师傅
打了以后，稍微能明白点儿，就是知道至少能稍微。
So earlier we just saw the master Yan Hao to do a demonstration of the 7-star face position. Otherwise, we may not understand the videos. So right now, earlier we have just asked a question to the audience. So we are talking about the location of the Malawi. So what exactly is Malawi? Now I would like to unveil the answer. Actually, Malawi is here. Did you get it right? Well, we have many people get the correct answer. I think right now, more Chinese audience, they are getting a better knowledge about the Africa continent. So this time, we will send out the refrigerated sticker to our audience. Let's see who are the lucky audience.
WZ 以梦为马，意大利的左后卫，烧鹅烧鸡烧开水不行了，这位朋友今天已经获得过了。漫步人生路以及攻守平衡442，对。祝贺这保存下来，祝贺！这个
Congratulations to the 5 lucky audience.
背回来特别不容易。那么接下来，
Actually, for these stickers, actually they are coming back to China from Africa countries.
那么接下来呢，在这个环节即将结束的时候，我也想邀请2位师傅，可不可以给我们演示一下？
After we end this session, I would like to invite the 2 masters to give us another demonstration. So they will have a catch and arrest demonstration. I think this is one of the essence of the martial arts. This is also a simulation of the real-time combat. So, for example, if someone trying to hit you, so how to protect yourself? It feels like you just like push his arm. So when he's trying to hit you, so he actually uses a lot of strength from his shoulder. So when we are looking at the enemy, you are trying to push the shoulder of the enemy. And then the enemy is not able to use strength. So when he was off guard, it's time for me to attack him. So right now, Mr. He is trying to have a try. So we have to make sure that we keep a balance in our belly center. So it feels like it's just a tiny move, a soft move. However, it will be helpful for you to protect yourself. So if someone trying to grab your clothes, and make sure that you catch his joints. And use another hand, and then you could turn the enemy away. So first we have to catch his joints, and then a very small twist of his joint. Then he's not able to do another move. My understanding about the catch and rest is, so for the other people, if they're off guard and then you have to act fast. You have to seize the right moment to have a counter attack. So when you find the perfect timing and the perfect window, and then you should initiate a deadly blow. So just make sure that you seize the joint of the enemy. So when you are doing this, your enemy is out of balance. But the key is that you have to act fast. So this is a defense and also an attack.
没有想到，我们今天还能看到这样的擒拿的演练。
So we didn't expect we have this excellent Kung Fu show, and we should learn all of these basic skills to protect ourselves. And actually during the live streaming, we were quite impressed by the Shaolin martial arts. We saw some people who are quite senior, and also we have some young masters who are able to do the Kung Fu. But we have a missing part here. So now I would like to show you some of the videos. And later, you will see a group of the performance of kids. Just stay tuned with us. A few minutes later, we are able to see the Kung Fu show performed by a group of kids.
"你的拳头要全打一条线。
三律，中。
预备，走，哈，走，走，走，走，走，走，走，走，走，走，一，对，手，放。我们的小武僧们棒不棒？来，小朋友们，
哇，你
来
几个？
来，我们小朋友们，我们来到中间，来。
哎呦喂，太可爱了，是吧？
真的是非常可爱的小武僧。
Very adorable, very cute.
大家叫什么名字呀？
So I would like to ask you a question. What's your name? How old are you?
啊，赵义森。
8.5 years old. 赵义生.
8岁。
What about you?
8岁。来，我叫杨光武。
Xin Cheng, also 8 years old.
8岁了。也是8岁了。哎。
Yang Guangwu, also 8 years old.
小伙子专门
So they're quite young, 8 and 8.5 years old.
没错。啊，特别执拗。我想问问3位哈，你们练习武术多长时间？
So I would like to ask you some question. How long have you been practicing martial arts? 3 years.
差不多3年了。
So basically, they start to practice martial arts from 3 years old. So for Xin Cheng, he practiced for 2.5 years. So I would like to ask you a question to Xin Cheng. So what is your expertise? The 7-star fist position. Maybe you just show us some moves of the 7-star fist. Very nice. Yinsen. So which fist position is your favorite?
不知道。那光武呢？
What about you?
他说我跟他一样，我也有点不知道。
那就是手
They are not sure about which face position is their favorite. Maybe
都练习啊，累不累？
they're best at all these kinds of different face position. Do you feel tired for the training?
师傅带
No.
不太累啊。师傅带大家练习的时候凶不凶？
So how do you feel about the training?
啊，
Do you think the master is very strict? Yes, when they are practicing the martial arts,
现场都
the master
都说
are quite
师傅还在那
strict.
边怎么就说实话呢？
对呀，
我想问问，你们想练什么拳呢？
So which type of the face position do you want to practice?
对，一个非常有特点的拳。
So he want to practice a 13 face position, and he also want to practice 13 face position.
小朋友都已经
Well, we just got the same answers from the 3 child.
我记得我在他们这么大
I
的
think
时候
they're
什么
quite
都不
cute.
会呢。哎，我想
I
问
remember
你
when
们在
I'm
最
at
苦
their
的时候
age,
有没有想不再
I know
练习了呢
nothing. So what is the toughest time? Have you ever think giving up? Nope.
也没有啊。你呢？没有。小男子汉，个个都是小男子汉，厉害，
太给力了。
厉害。我想问问，咱们每
So you
天
could see they're quite strong. They never think of giving up during the training.
好几个小时，
So they will take a couple of hours per day for the training,
早上一个小时，
maybe 4 hours, and also they will practice for 1 hour in the evening. And some of them will have some morning
僧们还在
practices,
练习着，而且他们
even
现在只
though
有
it is
8
quite
岁
tough for the training.
已经练
But
习
still, they keep practicing. Right now, they're quite young. They're 8 and 8.5 years old. But still, they spend years in practicing the martial arts. It's quite touching.
我相信何老师和我一
So
样
from
非常
yesterday to
感
today, we
并且
see
感受到
monks
少林
at
武术
different
在不
age,
断地传承，而且看到
and
他们
also we
感觉
could
非常
feel
地
the
感动，因
charm
为
of the
总觉得下一代
Shaolin
的希
martial
望就
arts.
在他们这些小
And
小
also,
的
we are carrying forward the spirit of Shaolin. And also, these 3 young boys, they're actually carrying the hope and carrying the future of Shaolin. So now we are coming to the end of our session for the Shaolin Temple. But soon, we will have another live coverage focusing on Tai Chi. So make sure you stay tuned with us.
昨天的时候，我们是在山门，我们欢迎了所有的年轻的小武
So
僧们。
yesterday we are in Shenmen, and also we are inviting a group of monks to do the martial arts performance. So when we are coming to the end for our special program, and also the same group of monks and masters will once again give us an excellent show
那我们就把
of
舞台
the
交给
martial
你们了
arts. And also for these 3 young boys, they will also participate in the ending show. Thank you.